Hello, welcome to On Your Lane. On this channel, we talk about taking charge of your life, making the income and the impact that you desire, and living a fulfilling life. Today, we're talking about planning, because all that is not possible unless you are clear about what you want to achieve, how you're going to do it, and making the journey exciting. You have to enjoy the process to achieving your goals as much as the actual achievement of the goals. Planning for the year is easier at the top of the year, at the start of it. But I have learned over the years that you shouldn't just get into the habit of planning all throughout the year. You don't want to just set your goals in January and then look at them again at the end of the year. Chances are they will have changed. The circumstances, the environment, the economy may have changed. Therefore, it is important for you to do a check-in. Sometimes you set goals that are too high, sometimes too low. Sometimes it's just life is happening and you need to go back and just reflect and see what needs to shift and what you need to be targeting for. So I encourage the habit of just planning all through the year, not just planning and sitting, but really planning or replanning, replanning. You get the picture. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to effectively plan. You can tell I love planning, but I have not always been this way. I used to just have great ambitions. I wanted to travel the world, make a lot of money. I wanted financial freedom. I didn't want to be restricted by how much I earned and not being able to do what I wanted. I wanted to eat what I wanted, travel where I wanted, just have the freedom to live well. I didn't know how that was going to happen. So I just kept it as a wish and hoped that somehow my education, my doing my best, my being sincere was going to get me the things that I desired. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. You can have the most sincere intentions, but if you have no plan, at least an actionable plan for yourself, you find that you'll be stuck in the same place year after year after year. And that was my situation. I would have New Year resolutions. This year we're going to lose weight. This year we're going to make lots of money. This year I'm going to start a business. And by the end of the first quarter, everything had changed. I was not achieving those goals. I had given up. And by the end of the year or half year, I was like, my resolutions suck. I'm not going to do it again, or I'm going to start again next year. So what I have developed over time is that understanding that a plan is not supposed to be something I'm increasing to. A plan is supposed to be my desires and how I'm going to make them happen in a way that I enjoy. The process should be as great as the destination. You don't want to hate the process, because if you do, you will quit. So in this video, I'm going to take you through my process to planning. I call it the Purpose Planning Protocol, PPP, because why not? What this is going to do is fire you up to achieve your goals. We all want to make more money. We all want to live fulfilling lives. But our pathways to get there are totally different. Now, if you don't do this process for yourself, and that's why it starts with purpose, planning, purpose, that is personal to you. If your plans are not personal to you, you feel a drag around them. You will lose steam. You want be demotivated and you will let go of them. So we're moving away from just saying, I want to make more money, I want a good job. Now we're saying, what is your purpose? What is driving you? When you find that in this process, it will keep you moving forward. So you might be discouraged, you might be challenged, but you will attain the things that you want. And for me, that is exciting because it's a guarantee that when I understand my purpose, when I understand why I'm doing what I want to do, it'll fire me up to move forward. Planning for me is the process of moving from where I am to where I want to be. I'm developing that process for me. This purpose planning protocol is going to be 6 steps. I'll cover some in this episode, and next week I'll continue the process because we don't want to overload it and it be too much to do. We want the process to be fun, but we want it also to be very reflective. And if you reflect, it will inform the plans so that you have great, amazing plans for yourself, and you have the why that drives them and makes them achievable for you. The first step in this process is to review. And I like these plans to come in 6 categories. You can customize these categories according to yourself. But I find that when you stick to these 6 categories, your whole life covered and you'll have joy, success all around. We don't want you succeeding in your job, but dreading getting back home because you're lonely or sad or depressed. We don't want you doing well in your business, but not doing so much in your social life. We don't want you prospering financially, but then in your health, you're struggling. So these 6 categories are meant to help you build a wholesome life. They're meant to support every aspect of your life so that you can be a fully happy person. The 6 categories are your spiritual life, your mental life, which is also your capacity, your ability, your value. Then we go to relationships. This can be romantic, family, all types of relationships, really. Then we go to health and fitness. Then financial goals, your financial life. And lastly, but definitely not least, your career, your purpose, or your assignment. So the first step I said is review. So you look at these 6 categories one by one and check how you did in each one of them. You want to give yourself time to do this, some quietness. Because if you don't put quality thinking through this process, then you will stand a chance of developing shallow goals or goals that don't really matter to you. Which means within the year you drop them, and even if you achieve them, they won't be relevant. You won't feel the joy that comes from achieving the things that you set out to do. So set aside some quality time for quality thinking. You don't have to do all this in one goal. You can look at 2 goals, 3 goals. In my process, I found that sometimes I'm looking at my financial goals and I'm seeing so many issues there, and it takes me longer than I intended. So I postponed the review of the other areas because this one area needed my attention. So we're not just trying to go through them so that we can just have a plan. We're trying to really get into them. So my process usually takes the whole of January. I'm not saying I'm reviewing all through January, but in the past I used to just cram my goal setting to the end of December. I just want to get things done. Like I'm chasing something, like I want to have my goals by the 1st. And there were shadow goals or misplanned, and sometimes weren't really totally thought through. So what I decided was my whole January is my relaxing, laid back month. Relaxing does not mean I'm not doing anything. I am getting to work, but I'm really just using the whole year as like time out. I use it to pray. I use it to introspect. I use it to then figure out what I'm doing in all these different areas. So let's go through it together. Your review. Let's start with the spiritual goals. Your spiritual life. Ask yourself questions. How is my spiritual life? How is my intimacy with God? Am I passionate about God? Do I know God more? Do I have a personal relationship with God? What is happening in this space? Now, be honest with your answers. You're not trying to impress anyone, but also you're not trying to be too judgmental so that you are now feeling bad and guilty. Be honest, acknowledge the things that have worked and the things that haven't. For me, one thing that I noted was my relationship with God was better. I spent more time with Him. But one thing that I did was I was becoming more mechanical. I love ticking boxes. I love seeing progress. And so sometimes the intimacy wasn't there. I would just say, I read my Bible, or I prayed, or I fasted. And you look at it as saying, did you even hear anything from God? Was that quality time, or was it just like, oh, I just need to pray for an hour. I pray. And I'm like, oh, I'm done. So it ends up being like a burden, a box to tick. So I know that that's something that I want to work on. It's not that all my time with God was mechanical, but I have seen that change where I'm so focused on achieving something, achieving that time, the quiet time, achieving the prayer time that I don't really spend time to know what God is saying to me, to calm down and just be in His presence. So I know that moving forward, I need more time in meditation. I need more time in the reading of a word. I need more time in quietness, because that means I am not achieving anything. I'm not the one talking all the time. I'm not the one just saying, God, God, God. I am really being quiet to just hear Him and receive from Him, from His word as well. Next, let's look at your mental life, which I also call your capacity, your value, your mind, really. So what is going on in this space? Did you invest in your mental abilities? Did you get better in your ability to serve in your field? Is your character improved? What can you work on? How did you excel in your mental capacity, in your resilience as a person? One way I measure my progress mentally is what books I read, what habits I had. I also measure my character. So issues that I noted for myself is I need to listen more in my conversations. I have come a long way. I used to be super argumentative, but I'm still a little bit more of a debater. I like to be the devil's advocate in conversations, and sometimes it's unnecessary. So I know in my character, I want to listen more. I want to be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to get angry. I see that in the most discussions where somebody has an opinion that is different to mine. I want to be able to acknowledge the difference and be able to be open to hear people's views. That is something in my character, and I want to be able to go deeper with books. And even I talked about my tendency to want to achieve things. So I do know that I love to read. I enjoy reading, but sometimes I just want the number of books I've read to be huge. So I'll be like, I read 36 books this year, I read 52 books this year, and I'll be excited about it. In actual sense, I might not remember what I read. I might not be able to retain what I read. So this year, I want to get deeper in fewer books and fewer topics. I want to not just read what is exciting, but also be intentional about what I'm reading, why I'm reading it, and reread these books and make sure I'm carrying the lessons moving forward. And I'll be doing some book reviews on my channel, not after I've read the book once, but probably after reading it twice or 3 times, because then I can really get more revelations from the book, more insight, and really process them for myself and have an experience with the new knowledge. That for me is how I can increase my capacity and my value. When I get more information and more understanding, and when I retain it, it really informs who I speak to, how I share, how I connect with people, and that is going to be an area of exciting growth for me in this year. For you, assess yourself. How have you fed your mind? How have you increased your capacity and the value you bring in your different workspaces? It can be actual work at home, work in business, work in church, in your volunteerism, whatever you do. Have you added value in those spaces? Have you gotten better as a person? Are you better at handling your emotions? What areas of growth do you see in the spaces, and what areas did you do well in the spaces? The next area is your relationship life. This is very important, and in the past year, I have spent so much time just understanding the power of relationships. It's an area that is spoken of a lot, at least for me, where I said, no, you are the sum total of the 5 people you hang around the most. I've been blessed with amazing friends. I've been blessed with amazing connections, and networking is something that I do enjoy. But moving forward, I'd like to be more intentional, especially that now I am not in Malawi anymore. I'm not at home. I am abroad. I'm based in Glasgow right now. I need to be more intentional about the friendships that I have. Sometimes life gets busy, or you just get in the zone of where you are and you can forget key relationships in your life. So for me, I want to invest more intentional time in the people that are closest to me. I'd like to spend more time with my parents, with my siblings, with my close friends. And I want to be more open about new relationships, new friendships out here. And since I'm abroad, it's so exciting to be able to connect with people of different cultures and be invited to their homes and eat their food. But funny, I enjoy that process, but it also is enriching to be able to understand the differences that exist in different cultures, but also the oneness that exists, especially with people who are from Africa. It's so interesting that they'll grow up in Nigeria, they'll grow up in Ghana or in Ethiopia, and you can just agree on our life's experience of like they grew up in the same village like me. It's so exciting, but I want to be more intentional about my friendships. I want to be intentional about who I let in and who I release. So you have to assess that as well in your life. Who have you been close to? What has been the impact of their closeness to you? Because sometimes the reason you're not moving forward is because you're holding on to the wrong relationships. Sometimes it's not necessarily a bad relationship. It just pulls you down. So relationships that are more gossipy, relationships that don't add any value to your life, relationships that just are focused on other people, are toxic in themselves without really hurting you, but they're just really slowly poisoning you. Those are things that you have to assess for yourself and say, what kind of relationships have I sustained, and which relationships should I come back on, and which ones should I invest in? And this might take a little more work for other people, other personality types, where you look at a person and intentionally trying to befriend them. When I wasn't so free with reaching out to people and talking to them, I would pray. I remember a few of my best friends, I actually prayed. I said, Lord, I don't know what we have in common, but I want them in my life because I like the qualities they bring. I love how rooted they are, how grounded they are. And those people somehow fell into my circle, and they've been friends for life. So it's been a blessing. So if we are intentional about identifying who you think you need in your life, or what kind of characteristics you admire in people and that you desire in your life, then you'll be able to see them drawn into your circle. The next area is financial goals. This area is exciting for me because I'm doing big things in my finances this year. It's just a goal of mine to not only make money, but to be able to grow money to invest money and to save money. Moving from a third world country to a first world country has shown me such a disparity in how we think about money, in what we do with money, in how we plan for money, in just the whole money mindset and the whole money behavior. There's a disparity. And growing up in a third world country, I have poverty tendencies that I've noted that I need to get rid of. When you just get money, you think of spending it. When you spend it, you don't really take account for it. When you have money, you are either saving it or spending it. Or there are only two ways of making money, a business or work, and that's it. There are 7 income streams that are possible for us. And I want to explore that. I want to be able to make money, have it work for me. I want to be able to make money and grow that money. This is an area of growth for me. So I'm already excited because I have been doing a better job at budgeting, a better job at tracking my expenditure. And I'm not really an extravagant person, but I never really make too much progress with growing my money or just being able to have an expenditure report. You don't need that, but it's just something that I find exciting to be able to know what I'm doing with my money, where it's going, and do I want it to be where it's going? So sometimes it's spending too much on clothes and you're like, no, I shouldn't. Sometimes it's spending too little on food and you're like, no, I want to spend more on that. So being aware of where your money is going is a start. But then now saying, how can I expand my earning capacity so that whatever I'm earning is more, and then I can have financial freedom. Having that as a goal, financial freedom, the ability to do whatever I want, however I want, without any limitations of money. That is beautiful. I would only dream about it. But now I am getting into these practical steps of making it happen for me. But one thing is tracking my expenditure and really exploring other means, but also getting new information, reading books, talking to people. Like I said, in a first world country, rich people are really, really rich. In Malawi, when a person is rich, you can really comprehend how much they have and stuff like that. But here, when a person is doing well, they're really doing well. When a person is spending on something and it's a luxury for them, you'll be like, oh, wow. So just talking to people and understanding how they deal with money, how they plan, like holidays, for example. People plan for holidays. Like last year, they already planned and paid for this year's holiday. That's just beautiful for me, really, to understand that and to get into the habit of that. So one thing about my mindset, my money's mindset, that was an exciting thing to learn was this spending culture. When you think of your dream situation, you say, okay, I want to make money, and it's about spending that money. That means every time you get money, you are going to chop it. You're not going to build wealth. And for me, that's important, building wealth for generations. So I'm working with that mindset to know, why should I always think of spending? When there is an exciting thing like, okay, what's your dream thing? It's spending the money, it might be normal, but it's a conditioning. And if you're always spending every time you get money, if you're always like, I pray for more money, you get more money, you spend it, then you're not going to build anything. You're not going to be wealthy. You want to be able to invest what you earn so that when you spend, there is actually more where that came from, like much, much more where that came from. And that means discipline, that means learning, that means earning more, investing, saving, and really making your money work for you and making your money grow. And that's an exciting goal area for me. I wonder how I'm doing in your finances. Do you know how much you spend? Do you have multiple income streams? Are you investing your money actively? Is your investment diversified? How is your money situation? What do you want to achieve with your money? Assess that, and that should inform your next session, which will be a goal setting session. One quote that I loved was, chasing money all your life is a curse. I heard that and I felt that. I felt that because for me, in my head, chasing money is just normal. Like I just assumed that I'll be working, doing my business, doing all I can all my life to make more money. But there is a different space, and that you can see that happen here, where people inherit money, where people no longer have to worry about money because the money is working for them. They've built companies that run on their own and stuff like that. You can get to a place where money no longer is an issue at all. It's not something you discuss at that level as a limitation at all. You only just want to use it wisely, but never like, oh, I need more. Oh, we need to patch this up or something like that. It stops being an issue. And that is a blessing. Living a whole life where your whole productive life is about how much I can make, and you're just chasing money, you're just trying to make more money, is a curse, and I don't want to be part of that. So review your habits, review what you're doing so that you also don't live this life where you're just like on a wheel chasing money and burning it. The next area is your career, which is also your assignment. I also call it your purpose. It can be your business, it can be whatever you're doing. Your career is what you spend most of your life doing. So you have to check, are you happy where you are? Did you do well where you are? Are your skills matched with where you are? Do you need to increase your mental capacity? Remember those mental goals? So that you do well in your career. Do you need to see any changes? Just review where you are right now. You might not like where you are. You might not like the job you're in or the business you're doing, but you won't move from it unless you assess what is wrong, what you don't like, and how you can fix it. Your career is really an area that has to operate within your gifting, your talent, your interests, your curiosities. So you have to have a love for it, a desire for it, or an interest in it. You have to be good in it for you to be able to command some level of expertise and success in that area. How are you doing in those areas? Are you making the impact you want to make? Are you adding value with your gifts in your career? Assess it. We'll move on later on setting goals in this area, but for now, just assess it and see what is working and what is not. The next area is health and fitness. I love this area because I have seen so much transformation in other areas of my life by focusing on my health and fitness. You only live in the body that you have. So no matter how successful you are in your relationships, in your spiritual life, in your mental capacity, in your finances, in all these other areas we've talked about, if your health and fitness is messed up, there is no going anywhere. So check, are you being a good steward of your body? Are you eating well? Are you aware what you're eating, what you're putting inside your body? Are you taking care of yourself? And most of the times when we talk about health and fitness, you think, oh no, now I just need to eat vegetables for the rest of my life. Not necessarily. But what you have to do is just make sure that 80% of the time you are taking care of yourself. Garbage in, garbage out. You won't be able to perform at your best if all you're eating is food that is pulling you down. There's food that feeds your brain, there's food that keeps you active, and there's food that makes you really, really lethargic. You don't want to be lethargic when you are making your best presentation in your career. You don't want to be lethargic when you're spending your time with God and you're getting downloads of ideas. You don't want to be lethargic when you're working on something very important that could move you forward. So you need to understand what you're putting inside your body. You need to have some discipline. Keep your body moving, exercise. And if you feel like you don't want to exercise, you don't like it, there are a whole range of ways for you to move your body that you can sustain and you can enjoy. If you don't like skipping or running or swimming or lifting weights, you can walk. Just make sure that you have a goal and you're sticking to it. Take care of your body because this is the one area that can be delegated. And it's that one area that if things fall apart there, everything else does not matter. So invest in your health, invest in your fitness, gain some understanding. Experiment with yourself actually, because sometimes you think, I can't do this, I can't do that, but what can you do? There are options. You are developing a plan for yourself, for your body, and not for me really. So don't compare yourself with others. Just say, how can I improve myself? How can I get fit, get healthier, eat better? What works for me? What are the options there? Assess this area and be a good steward. Because when you do, I have learned that if you develop discipline here, it really does trickle and affect the rest of your life positively as well. That was the first part of our purpose planning protocol, which is the review. It is important because before you move forward, you have to really know what is happening where you are right now. You have to look back. Therefore, you avoid repeating some mistakes, but you also use the good things that you learn, the good things that you're good at to push you forward. So you say, okay, I do well in my fitness, what worked there? How can I replicate that? How can I maintain that? How can I sustain that? It is really important for you to review before you start running because speed is good, but direction is more important. It doesn't matter how fast you're running if you're running in the wrong direction. I do hope this was helpful for you, and if it was, drop me a comment with your takeaways. Next week, we'll look into goal setting. After the review, what are we going to do with this information or with these findings? We're going to move forward into a goal setting session. It's supposed to be shorter and more quick. Why? Because you know what you want, and at the same time, you also have the basis of what you have done in the past. Therefore, it allows you to make goals that are moving, goals that are achievable, goals that will blow your mind, but also be exciting for you. I have a resource that you would find really helpful if you're serious about your goal setting and being effective in your year. It's called the Purpose Planning Protocol Template. It's a template that will help you with the reviews, it will help you with the goal setting so that you move forward with purpose and you'll be able to have your written goals that you can go back to and adjust as necessary. There is power in that. So if you're looking for that, check in the description. You can click the link and access this purpose planning protocol template. Seems like a heavy statement to say. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue to grow this community. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.